Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well and welcome to day 4 of our Array and Strings Mastery series at Aarush coaching classes. So today we are gonna tackle the famous three-sum problem. This is a particular question that appears nearly in every coding interview. Okay, so today we will see or explore multiple approaches to solve this particular problem and understand the why factor behind each and every step. See, students, today this session is going to be very, very important because most of the people just try to memorize the solution of this particular problem. From my perspective, this is an amazing problem in DSA to solve and understand the pattern, which doesn't just get to solve this particular problem, but opens the window for understanding multiple related problems. And once you understand this particular thing, you'll be able to solve multiple similar pattern problems because this problem doesn't come as a single problem. Because while solving it, you would have to solve multiple layer of problems. We will see that in today's session. Okay. So let's move forward to first understanding this particular problem. Okay. So just for the sake of creating the context, okay, earlier sessions we solved a similar problem named two sum. If you remember it, earlier we solved two sum problem. What is the problem about? In this particular problem, you were given an array, okay, of integers, and you were asked to find or are there any two items whose sum was equal to some target integer. That's what the question was all about, correct? So similarly here, though you can see it is written in just one line because I didn't want to make it more complex for you. Instead, I wanted to show you that in real scenarios, you might get this particular problem in this language, or you can get it in one or two paragraph statement as well. Okay, paragraphs में भी आपको मिल सकता है. Why? Because that's how the nature of problem statement works. है ना? People don't just give you the standard problems with the standard names. They are never gonna say, okay, show me how you're gonna solve the three-sum problem. No. Instead, they will give you a story-based problem which contains probably one or two paragraphs. You would have to understand what is being asked properly, okay, and then conclude that, oh, it is a similar problem that I have solved as a three-sum problem. Then from there, you will start relating and start building your approach for the solution. Okay. So that's how things work. That's why I have written it in a single line only. Find all unique triplets in the array that sum to zero. Now let me explain the meaning of this particular thing. What is it actually trying to say? So similar problem as I told you that we have solved in previous session, which was about finding or telling if there are two items in the array whose sum is equal to some target. So here also let's read it again. Find all unique triplets in the array that sum to zero. So triplet means nothing. Okay, three items. Group of three items. Okay, let me write it more clearly. Nothing but group of three items. So these are called as triplets. So now find all unique triplets. Unique भी होने चाहिए. That's what they're asking. Unique triplets in the array that sum to zero. So isn't it quite similar to the to this particular question two sum? It's just that here you need to focus upon three items instead of two items, you know? Instead of two items, and again target is given. Target is zero here, है ना? यहाँ क्या target है? यहाँ target zero है. So let's have a look at the input. Okay, input is -1, 0, 1, 2, -1 and 4. So here we can see that if we add up -1 plus -1 plus 2, okay, what will I get? -2 plus 2, which will be 0. है ना? target completed. So this is one triplet. Another one is minus 1, 0, and 1. If I add all these, this will add up to 0 again. So that's why the output is these two triplets. And you can see the output is in what format? It's a 2D array, means list of list, you can say. I know. Because a triplet in itself is an array, and there are two triplets, so an array of triplets is what we are expecting in the output. Okay. And the major challenge that you are gonna face here to while solving this is because they are saying unique triplet, है ना? Unique triplet. So if I write minus 1, comma 1, minus 1 and comma 2, it is one triplet. Okay. But if I just change the order to minus 1 to minus 1. Okay. Though they look different, but are they really different? No. By the items, we can't call them different, two different item sets, or you can say the list of the triplets. Yes or no? We can't call it because the items are same. Minus 1, there are two minus 1, two minus 1s, and 1, 2, 1, 2. So same. So this will be termed as duplicate triplet. Okay, duplicate triplet. This is what you need to avoid. Avoid it. So for better clarity, let's take this minus 1, and 0. Okay, minus 1, and 0. We saw this. This is also a triplet. So minus 1, and 0. है ना? ये एक बन रहा था. There is one more thing. Sorry, minus 1, 1, and 0. Not minus 1. Minus 1, 1, and 0. Okay. And this would be similar to minus 1, 1, and 0. 0, 1, minus 1. Minus 1, 0, and 1. So because all the sum is 0 and the items, the unique items in these arrays are also same. So these would be nothing but duplicates. And what we want in the question? Unique triplets. That's why we need to figure out a way to avoid these as well. Correct. So if we move towards the approach, we can move towards it only by keeping two things in mind. First would be to find three items whose sum equal to 0. Second, these avoid taking duplicates of these three items. So I am giving you 5 seconds. Write in the comment section about this second part. How you can avoid taking duplicates of these three items. Because hint is here only. You can see it very clearly all the duplicates here that can be written for this particular 1, minus 1, and 0 combo. Okay. And think how you can avoid the duplicates while storing. Though you are getting ki हाँ, minus 1, 1, minus 1, and 0 is equivalent, some of these is equivalent to 0, then minus 1, 1, and 0, some of these would be equal to 0. But while storing it in your answer, because your answer is going to contain multiple such triplets, correct? While storing it in the answer, what else you can do, or what extra logic, or what extra thing you can do about it so that you don't store this and this and this. Repeated things you don't need to store. That's what you need to think about. Okay. So meanwhile you are thinking about it, let me come to the first approach. We'll build the foundation through this approach for solving this particular problem, and then gradually we will move forward towards the other things. Okay. So why start with brute force? Why I'm writing here is you need to understand and always keep it in mind why you are doing what you are doing. Okay. So starting with the brute force approach helps you build the intuition about the problem. Like what are the basic things that are required to solve that particular problem? Advance abhi chhod do, hai na? So that's why you need to start with the brute force. Help understand the duplicate challenge because if you think in a most naive way or the brute force way, you will think about this particular first problem only. To find three items whose sum is equal to 0. That will solve the question, correct? But next level would be to focus here, unique चाहिए, correct? Repeated नहीं चाहिए. So that's where it comes. It helps you understand the duplicate challenge. कि भाई duplicate भी मिल सकता है. Let's try to avoid it, but how to avoid it? Think about some solution. Correct. Third point, it provides a working solution to optimize some. At least you will get at least one solution which works towards the actual answer. Then from there you will try to, or you can start optimizing it. Okay, it is better than having no solution, correct? That's how we need to start from here. Now let's see again. I have already put here the number as the input array nums and the output what we are expecting in the output. Okay, so if we compare it and compare it in terms of similarity with the two sum problem. So in the brute force approach, what we can do, we'll we will do what? There in the twosome we were doing what? Fixing one item and getting some with rest of the item to reach target. Yes or no? That's what we were doing in the twosome problem. So here also what we are going to do, fix first item and check with rest. Because you need to find a triplet. Triplet have three items, correct? So fix first item and check with rest. क्या करेंगे हम लोग? For I equals to 0, I less than, you need to check with the rest है ना? So last के two items के पहले तक आप first item में fix कर सकते हो, because in any possible answer there can't be less than three items. Yes or no? It can't have less than three items. So if you're fixing first item, the first item can go till this index only, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, till third index only, which is nothing but n minus 2. Okay, less than n minus 2. Less than n minus 1 would be here, less than n minus 2 would be here. Okay, means n minus 2 would be here, so less than n minus 2 would be here. Okay, that's how you are going to. Now, I plus plus. So now here you have fixed your first item as nums I. Nums I is your first item. Okay. Next, what do you need to do? Now, because it's a triplet, so instead of directly, if I have fixed this item, instead of directly going with the rest of the items, you would have to fix second item as well. Now fix second item and check with the rest. अभी second item कहाँ से कहाँ तक जा सकता है? ये second item would be starting from here and go till here, है ना? क्योंकि ये third item के लिए तो space छोड़ना पड़ेगा last. Okay? So for j is equals to I plus 1. Okay, second item would be starting next to I. J should be less than n minus 1. Okay, and j plus plus. Correct? Next, what do we need to do? Second item fix हो गया. Second item is nothing but nums j. Okay. Now about the third item. So now check the sum of first and second item with rest of the items one by one. So what do we need to do for that? Take one more loop for, okay. So just take one more loop and write it as for k is equals to j plus 1. Okay, यहाँ से start होगा as the third item. K should be less than n and k plus plus. Okay, so here you are gonna traverse the rest of the items to find the sum with the previous two items, correct? So how would you get? Sum is equals to nums I plus nums j plus nums k. Okay, if sum equals to 0, if it matches a target, then you need to think about what? If it matches a target, then you need to think about what? From here, you need to think about handle the duplicates. Now, the question is how to handle the duplicates. Let me just give you a bit of context. ठीक है, यहाँ से उठाते हैं. Just look at this very, very carefully. I'm putting it here. Now look at this. What are these numbers? Though I can say minus 1, minus 1, 0, sum is 0, is different than minus 1, 1, 0, which also gives the sum 0. They are different. But what logic can I apply to make these look same? We can sort them. है ना? If I sort them, what will I get? Minus 1, 0, and 1. Don't I? Yes or no? If I sort them, minus 1, 0, and 1 is what I'm gonna get if I sort all of them. Now they are no more different. No more different, है ना? So this is what logic we are gonna apply, okay? This is what logic we are gonna apply to handle this here. Okay, so let's see the solution. Why I'm not showing the whole thing? Because it is quite similar to two sum, है ना? तो पूरा करना would be more like the spoon feeding, correct? So that's why now I'm going to show this particular thing. Look at this here very, very carefully. So because in the output they are asking you a list of triplets, so that's why list is what is going to be return type of this particular function, which is going to solve and give the solution. Three some brute force. Nums is the input array. Okay. Now, so the list that we are going to return is in the form of set of list of integers. Okay. Again, to avoid the multiple entries है ना, क्योंकि ऐसा हो सकता है कि दो इट इज वन थिंग है ना, that we are getting some different pairs, but we don't want any other repetitions. That's why we are taking set, or here without set also I think it can work. Okay, but we are taking the hash set here to store things so that no duplicates are there. Now we are finding the n, which is nothing but the length of this array. Now fixing first item, one for loop. Then another for loop would be starting for j is equals to I plus 1 next to y. Okay. Second item. Next for loop would be, okay, k is equals to j plus 1. This is for the third item. Okay. Now we are trying to find the sum of all these three items if this is equal to 0 or not. If this is equal to 0, then what are we doing? Then we are gonna do what? Collect these three items in the triplet array that we created here. यहाँ पे भी create कर रहे हैं triplet array. We are putting all these three items in the triplet array. Putting three items in triplet. And then doing what? Because we want unique, है ना? We want unique items. So create consistent representation of uniqueness. What are we doing? We are just sorting this triplet first. Sorting will do what? If let's say if I have found these three items in the form this one or this one or this one. So before storing it into our solution array, What we are going to do, we are going to sort them so that they look uniform like this. Okay, so that's what is happening is sorting then, and then we are putting it in our set. Because after sorting also there is a chance that you will get these three items. क्यों? कैसे होगा? देखो क्या होता है. Let's say you got in one of the iterations you got in the triplet -1, 1 and 0, correct? Then on sorting you are getting what? -1, 0 and 1, है ना? And you have put it in what? You have added in a, if you directly add it in the result array, and if result is not a set, what will be happening, है ना? तो result में let's say your result array have this thing -1, 0 and 1 आपने put कर दिया, correct? Now in another of the iterations you will get what? Let's say in another of the iterations you are getting -1, 0 and 1, है ना, as a triplet. But then you are sorting it. So once sorted, it will look like what? -1, 0 and 1. So if you directly just add this triplet in your result would be looking like what? एक तो आया ही था -1, 0, 1 from earlier. Now you will again have -1, 0 and 1. So to avoid this, we are taking help of two approaches, means two things, two actions, which are them. First was sorting की सबको uniform to make the triplets uniform, है ना? Making triplets look uniform. Next, while storing to avoid duplicate, we use set to store our triplets. Okay, that's how you can avoid. So you can see if result was just a normal 2D list, है ना? तो ये duplicates आ सकते थे. But if result is a set, अगर ये set है, so you know set doesn't allow duplicates. Though you will try to put duplicate item in there, but it won't be reflected in the set as a duplicate item. Okay, so I hope this is clear now. कि why we are first sorting and why we have taken this set of list to put our triplets as a unique answers. Okay, so I hope this is clear now. So what have we tried to avoid here? Please let's review or revisit because this is something you can write in sleep also है ना? अब तो खुद भी लिख सकते हो because two sum solve कर लिया था. But the major challenge was dealing with the duplicates. So how are we dealing with duplicates? We are dealing with duplicates by doing what? We are dealing with duplicates by employing a set of lists to store triplets, okay, and making triplets look uniform by sorting them first before putting them in the result. Okay, so that's what we are doing? We are doing these two steps to avoid the duplicates here. First, and this is the second one. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. I hope this is clear to you. Okay, now if you are thinking, so sorting would take extra, you can say it will increase our time complexity because it is happening inside the nested for loops. But let me remind you, what is the concept of time and space complexity? Any extra space taken to reach to the solution which is in the order of the size of the input. So similarly here, for this sorting to really be considered as extra time, the order of time it should take would be similar to the order of traversal that we are doing. N can be of size 10 power 9, but sorting have only three items. Yes or no? So if you do 3 log 3, because this is the usual time that takes by the inbuilt sorting function, and log n, which is would be here 3 log 3. Why? Because you're doing sorting for 3 items only. It would be nothing but constant time. Okay, it will take nothing but constant time compared to this. That's why it's not very significant here. Okay, so that's why the whole time complexity would become what? Time complexity would still be here because of n cube because of these nested three for loops which are running from starting till the last item, starting till the last item, starting till the last item. Don't get confused by n. Here, if you write n minus 2 anyway, the whole items won't be working है ना, because loop can terminate वहाँ end में आके हो ही जाएगा, but still you can write less than n minus 1 and less than n minus 2. Okay, that's what you can write. Okay, वो चलेगा. Now time complexity would be n cube and space complexity would be, what would be the space complexity? Tell me. What is the space complexity here? Yes. See, it is gonna be big of n only. Okay? Big of n only. अब ये n को आप क्या बोल सकते हो? Because you are taking, you are taking and storing triplets. Okay. So in worst case, the total number of items can be of size n. Let's say कोई bias input आ ही गया. So that's why, though it is written here k, so k equals to number of triplets, okay, and it totally can contain n items. Therefore, big of can is also correct answer. Because आपको इनपुट के साइज के फॉर्म में कुछ देना होता है. तो if you are saying k, then the interviewer might ask you what I can assume the value of k in worst case. What in worst case? So you can say, so there can be a chance where total number of items, because anyway 2D array also constitutes of 1D array, which anyway if it is integers so constitute of integers only. So if there are n integers there, or n by 2 integers also would be similar to big of n on. Okay, so this would be the answer. So I hope this is clear to you. So let's check the insights here. Triple nested loop, check every possible combination. Then what are we doing? Sorting triplets to ensure minus 1, 1, 0 and 1 minus 1, 0 becomes the same to make the triplets uniform. Then we are doing hash set automatically removes duplicate of triplets, saving duplicates of it just it is just avoiding the saving of duplicate triplets. Okay, so that's what we have done in this particular approach, and this is getting us the time complexity of order n cube and space complexity of order of big of n only. I hope this is clear to you now. Correct? So please try to solve it on your own also. And now let's move to the next approach, which is gonna be the hash set the optimizer. Okay, let's think about it. Last time ने क्या काम किया था? Because this problem is, I have repeated also, I'm repeatedly saying it, it is very similar to the two sum problem. It just comes with additional challenges when we solve it for three sum, or instead of two items, when we solve it for three items. So what are those additional challenges? First we saw the repetition duplicates के लिए था, ठीक है? That's again to some also we had a second approach by using the proper hash set. Here also we are gonna do it, but same time we'll try to solve the challenges of duplicates here as well. So what we can do here? Let's see first what we can do here. So to optimize it, let's uniform the input in such a way to avoid duplicate starts है ना, because anyways the brute force approach gave you a proper solution, but it was very much time taking. So on bigger inputs it will be very slow. तो आपको टाइम कम करना है, टाइम कम करना है तो now you need to play some tricks by finding the patterns कि और क्या कर सकता है. So we use this approach to eliminate one nested loop. अगर आप एक nested loop eliminate करते हो, then you would have to deal with some trade-off. Okay, and that elimination of one nested loop will reduce the time complexity from n cube, big of n cube, to big of n square. Okay, so we would have to handle the unsorted array in this particular solution. How to handle this? Obviously, repeated starting of the, or you can say duplicate start, you can see here clearly. If I fix this minus one, let's say this array was bigger than this. If I fix this minus one, so minus one से start है first item, second, third you can look around here. But let's say यहाँ से फिर minus one से start हो रहा है ना कुछ, तो later if you fix this, then again minus one से start होगा and you will be looking for something. So to optimize this, we can see that we need to eliminate the duplicate starts. Eliminate duplicate starts. अब वो कैसे कर सकते हैं? If I make my array look something like this, है ना? अगर मैं इसको ऐसा दिखा दूं, sorted form में, then it will look like what? This will be -4, then -1, then 0, 1. What are the rest of the items? Oh, I think it was not copied properly. Just give me a minute. Yeah, okay. If I sort this, what will I get? -4, -1, 0, 1, 2. Yes or no? This is what we are gonna get. And then after this, you can just, how many items are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many items are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what am I missing here? -4, -1. Okay, two minus ones are there. So that's why I'm putting one more -1 here. Okay. So -4, -1, -1, 0, 1, and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items are there. So this will look like this. Now you can see that all the repeated items will come together in a sequence. Yes or no? So from here we can employ some logic to avoid the same start. Employ some logic to avoid starting with same item. So what we can do is, let's say through some logic when we are in our first for loop, which are, which are starting with I0, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, what we can do is, if we started with 4, that is completely okay. And next we went to -1. We started with -1. That is completely okay. Next, when I am going to the next item, for my very first loop, I'm again using the I to get to the next item. It says again -1. So what logic can I employ? I can just employ if item at I is equal to my item at previous position also. I -1. अगर same था. So what we can do? Continue. Continue will do what? It will prevent it or make it avoid execution of rest of the items. Instead, it will just reiterate the outer loop. So my I will directly put to the or get to the next item. That's how I would avoid to start with the same item. Okay, that's what we are going to do. So first, this is the technique to avoid to start with the same item. अगर मेरा current item previous item के equal था, so I am not going to start from here. Okay, I will move on to the next item. So this way we started with -4, then we started with -1. We avoided this -1, and the next we would be starting with 0 and come inside the next for loop. For j is equals to I plus 1, j less than n, j plus plus, and things goes on. Okay, I hope this is clear till here. So ये तो एक काम करते हैं ना avoid करने के लिए. Next अभी क्या कर सकते हैं? Remember, if you remember, see, first item fixed है. First item. In twosome, what we did? We did was target is equals to a plus b था. So fixing one item हमें क्या रहता था? We were knowing about what my first item. So second item we were supposed to get by this formula. B would become target minus A. So we were supposed to find B in hash set. Hash set was containing the items I have already visited, because if B is available in my array and I have seen it, then only I can say yes, there is a pay. So this similar logic we are going to apply, but with what? First item got fixed with the I वाला loop, okay. Second में हम क्या करेंगे? Instead of doing this for loop, what we are going to do is we are again going come to this formula. Target is equals to A plus B plus C, because we are dealing with the triplets. So C would be what? C would be what? C would be what? I'm giving you 5 seconds and give me the answer in the chat or comment. What we can do with the C? यहाँ से formula क्या change जाएगा? And why we are focusing on C only? Because first item तो fix हो गया था यहाँ पे, है ना? First item got fixed. We are supposed to eliminate one nested loop, है ना? एक nested loop eliminate करना है. We'll try to eliminate the third nested one. Okay? ये तो किया था पेयर में भी. जो लास्ट लूप था उसको हटाया था टू सम में. Yes or no? So C would become target minus A minus B. And here in this particular problem, what is the target? Target is 0 minus A minus B. So A क्या होगा? अभी if in the sorted array, if I fix my first item which is -4, or Instead of putting the item, A would be nums I, B would be nums j, because second internal nested loop would be for fixing the second item, है ना? तो ये आ रहा फॉर्मूला. So ultimately what is the formula? C is equals to minus nums I minus nums j. This is the formula to calculate C, which we'll be using, है ना? तो अब ये J में आ गए. J में हम क्या कर सकते हैं? स्टार्टिंग अवॉइड कर दिया था, देन वी हैव कम टू J. J में भी क्या कर सकते हैं? We will try to find the sum. Sum or C is equals to minus nums I minus nums j. Okay. After finding it, we will see if we have seen C already. देखा है नहीं देखा है? अगर देखा है ना? If yes, then अगर yes हो जाता है, then हम लोग क्या कर रहे होंगे? Yes, then इसको ऐसा हटा दो. Then now we have our triplet. So what we will do? Make a triplet of A, B, C, sort it and put it in a set. ठीक है. For this scene वाला logic, what did we use in twosome? For this particular logic, what did we use in twosome? Twosome में क्या use किया था? We used hash set. Hash set to implement the scene checking logic, है ना? Because we have fixed A, we have fixed B. For C, we are checking if C is available, then that is completely okay. It is finding the triplet. Not available. Now if C is not available, then what were we doing? If not, then put B as seen. क्योंकि B और C के बीच में वो टू सम का लॉजिक अभी चल रहा है. वन को तो हमने फिक्स ही कर रखा है, A को फिक्स कर रखा है ना? Put to B as seen. So आपका जो हैश सेट होगा, put B in hash set. Okay, that's what we are gonna do. So now let's see the whole logic here. So again, I already told you what we're returning, a list of list, because that's what the list of triplets is. See some hash set, nums array, input array we have got. Now, first we will sort the array. As I showed you earlier, nums है यहाँ पे, ये sorted nums है. To avoid repeated items, है ना? और repeated starting item, duplicate start item को avoid करने के लिए. So for duplicate, skipping and consistent output. ठीक है. Next, this is the set we are using as a result, है ना? To avoid putting duplicate triplets. This is what we have seen in the brute force approach earlier, है ना? N length of the array, correct? Now this first for loop, fix first item. Okay, now we need to find the rest of the two items to make the triplet. So why skip duplicates prevents same starting number multiple times. That's why we have sorted the array earlier, है ना? Sort कर लिया था. अब यहाँ पे हम check कर रहे हैं. Now we are checking if I is greater than 0. Means first item नहीं है I, है ना? And then current item at ith index, okay, or current item is equal to the previous item, then simply continue, है ना? Don't execute further. Instead, go to the next item. Okay. That's what we are gonna do. Next, we are creating a set named scene for the logic of hash set, है ना? To avoid one more, to avoid third nested loop. Okay, जो हमने किया था. Now fixing the second item. Fix second item is what we are doing here. Now, about the C, we are calculating C, which we are calling it here as complement. So minus nums I minus nums j. That's what I showed to you here. Minus nums I minus nums j. Okay. Now, why check scene first? First, we are checking if I have seen this complement or C value already or not. To avoid using same element twice, है ना? Repetitions avoid करने के लिए हमने देखा था. We seen this logic in the two sum. I am not explaining it completely. Okay. So if scene dot contains complement, if it have we have seen it already, means it exists in my array. That's why we must have seen it. So it's a positive. We have got the third item. Okay, positive result है. Third item मिल गया. So we are putting these three items in our result set. ठीक है, result हम directly इसको put कर रहे हैं. Okay. These three items क्योंकि एरे ऑलरेडी सॉर्टेड था तो वो इशू नहीं है सॉर्टिंग का. ठीक है, एनीवे वी आर गोना गेट द सॉर्टेड आइटम्स. यहाँ सॉर्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ऑलरेडी सॉर्टेड एरे, so no need to sort here again. Okay, you will get the triplets in sorted order only. Now this is the else part. Else part means अगर ये चला तो चला, नहीं चला तो anyway ये तो चलना ही चलना है. Else means not complete else. Anyways, whatever you have seen as the fixed second item, it needs to be added or put in the scene array. Okay, so that's why scene dot add nums j. That is what we are gonna do, and then we will reiterate again to find the pairs with the second, third items while fixing the first item. Okay, so that's how this is gonna work, and finally we will have all our items, all our triplets. Okay, and at the end, what are we gonna do? Return our result array. Okay, that's what we are gonna do. So now let's look at this particular logic and tell me what is going to be the time complexity here. Let's calculate the time complexity. Time complexity तो ये क्या करना पड़ेगा? First, what are we doing? We are sorting the array using the inbuilt sort function. So what are we going to do? Sorting plus scene logic, fix first item, fix second item प्लस सीन लॉजिक है ना. तो सॉर्टिंग कितना ले रहा है? n log of n टाइम लेता है सॉर्टिंग. प्लस here fixing first item, fixing second item, and then there is no loop inside है ना. This checking for the scene item, it takes constant time. ये big of 1 ही लेता है in the set. So that's why this is taking big of n square only. Okay, now which one is greater? Which one is most significant? क्या है इसमें से greater? Big of n square, because n square is greater than n log of n. That's why we can call that worst case time complexity would be big O of n square only. Okay, and about this space complexity, as you know, we are using the hashla part. So one extra space we are using to store the results, and one extra space here we are using to store our next set of items for the B or second fixed item. So it can't be more than big of n only. Nested space नहीं है, 1D array टाइप का स्पेस है. ओके, नेस्टेड स्पेस नहीं आ रहा जिसकी टोटल लेंथ n के बराबर पहुंच जाएगी या n से ज्यादा पहुंच जाएगी. ठीक है, वर्स्ट केस बिग ऑफ n only. So that's why. Now look at the king sides here. Outer loop fixes first element. हैश टेबल स्टोर सीन नंबर्स फॉर ऑर्डर वन लुकअप है ना. जो सीन सर्च कर रहे हो ऑर्डर वन में हो रहा है. Duplicates skipping prevent -101 and -101 from same starting -1. That's what is happening here. यहाँ पे हो रहा था. And for the same thing to help that, we sorted the array initially. Now complexity, big of n square time complexity and big of n space complexity. Okay, I hope this is clear now. So after this, let's move to the next approach. Okay, next approach is again, to समझ भी कौन सा last master approach था? Two pointers, which is quite much relevant. यहाँ पे हमारा क्या आ गया? Though here we were able to reduce the time complexity reduced from big of n cube to big of n square, but with same space, which is big of n. वो पहले वही था. Now let's see approach थर्ड हम लोग क्या अचीव कर सकते हैं. What we can achieve in the third approach. Let's see about it. So from here, let me just copy this, the sorted array. Okay, let's paste it here. So this is my sorted array, which I have pasted here. Let me write sorted nums. Yeah. Okay. So, because if you remember, this two pointer approach can be applied on sorted array. Na? So we will try to achieve with this approach best time and space complexity. We will try to not use any extra data structure like set we were using there, and most elegant solution. अब एक बार check कर लेते हैं क्या आएगा. ठीक है. So what is the thing that you can achieve of? See, time order n square हो गया है already. Correct? We have achieved order n square time already. इसको n पे नहीं ला सकते because we are talking about triplet. Can't reduce much now. Much after this. ठीक है? इसके बाद बहुत ज़्यादा reduce नहीं कर सकते. So अभी क्या कर सकते हैं? If we remember what we did after the hashing, we were applying the two pointer logic on the same set of items which we were using in hashing. It's just that same logic is gonna use here. What we're gonna do is fix first item. Let me write it here. The logic. Sort the array. Fix first item. Then apply two pointer logic on the rest of array to get rest of the two items. ये तो किया था टू सम में भी टू पॉइंट लॉजिक डायरेक्टली अप्लाई किया था. So here also we can apply by fixing the first item. That way we will combinedly get the three items. Correct? But it's not as simple as it is looking. Challenge क्या है? Challenges. Because we are not using hashing here, because we are not using extra data structure like set to avoid duplicates, तो क्या कर सकते हैं? We need to apply logic to avoid duplicates manually. ठीक है, अब क्या कर सकते हैं? We first saw sorting the array, fix first item, then avoid repeated first item. ये तो हमने लास्ट किया ही था. Repeated first item. This logic till here we have done already. So let's see -4 से स्टार्ट किया, है ना? दिस इज माई फर्स्ट आइटम. देन my L is here and my R is here. Okay. So -4 -1 plus 2 would be what? कितना आएगा? Is it equals to 0? No. अब अगर नहीं है ना? तो क्या करोगे? अब अगर नहीं है तो क्या करोगे? क्योंकि -4 तो फिक्स है ना? एंड इसका सम टोटल कितना आ रहा है? -4 -1 -5 plus 2 -3. -3 is not equals to 0. So to reach 0 we need to increase the value. Yes or no? So क्या करेंगे? वैल्यू इंक्रीज करने के लिए क्या करते थे? Put our left pointer further, है ना? Move our left pointer. अब अगर हम लेफ्ट पॉइंटर को मूव करें, now you can see that though I'm moving my left pointer, but again my left pointer is pointing at -1, which will further lead to what? Addition of -4 -1 plus 2 -3 is not equals to 0. So isn't repetition is happening in the two pointer steps also? Yes or no? Or you can say duplicate challenge in two pointer also. है कि नहीं है? So what we can do to avoid it, है ना? So what we can do it duplicates. ठीक है? What we can do it? We can make sure that the next item, next name, instead call current item at L pointer and R pointer, if you're working with R, is not same as previous item pointed by the pointer. Pointed by the pointer. Okay. So here, अगर हम L को next पे लेके आते हैं, then we will have to check if this item same to previous. अगर है, तो avoid this recalculating at this and instead move your left pointer one more. So this way we can avoid this. And what we will be doing next? -4, है ना? यहाँ I रख देते हैं. ठीक है? -4 now plus 0 and plus 2, which will give me -2, which is not equals to 0. Correct? But at least I have avoided what? I have avoided the duplicate. Correct? So now again -2 is smaller than 0. So I will move my left pointer again. है ना? अब 1 पे आ गया. Now I will calculate what? Again -4 plus 1 plus 2. कितना आ रहा है? -1 आएगा. Correct? Again, which is not equals to 0. So I will rewrite it, but I will see that that way my left pointer would be again at the right pointer. So this will terminate. Now what will I do next? What will I do next? Same thing. I will move my I pointer here. Okay. I will move my I pointer here to the next item and again start my left pointer here and right pointer here. है ना? फिर यहाँ से कैलकुलेशन स्टार्ट करते हैं. What will I see? So from here, I can see that -1 यहाँ था, again -1 and 2. What am I getting? The calculation would lead to -1 -1 plus 2 equals to 0, which is equal to 0. है ना? True है. So this is the first triplet that I am going to put in my output. Okay. ये कर दिया. तो अभी क्या गया रिजल्ट में? हमने क्या किया? सेव किया -1 -1 एंड 2 को अभी हमने सेव करा रिजल्ट में. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट देखते हैं. इफ आई हैव फाउंड, नाउ अगेन यू वुड हैव टू थिंक कि अब लेफ्ट और राइट को कैसे मूव करना है. ठीक है. अगर पा भी लिया है तो मूव टू दिस पर्टिकुलर पोजिशन, है ना? and this will move to this particular position. I will check again, -1. The next item is 0 plus 0, and at the item at this value is right pointer is 1. Again, sum is 0, which is equal to 0. So correct हो गया. So next I can put -1, 0 and 1. है ना? ये मैं put कर सकता हूँ. After that, they will cross each other. यहाँ पे right आ जाएगा, यहाँ left आ जाएगा. This will terminate. Then my I would come here, and from here again left and right, the whole game would be started. And from here you can see now there is no more solution which will be suitable for this, है ना? Because अभी क्या होगा, -1 plus 0 plus 2. What will it lead to? -1. अब -1 होगा तो what will I try to do? I will try to increase the sum. So I will put my left pointer where? Here. कहाँ पे पुट कर दूंगा लेफ्ट को? यहाँ ले आऊंगा. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे मैं क्या चेक कर जाऊंगा? अगेन सम -1 plus 1 plus 2. This will lead to 2, which is greater than 0. So क्या होगा? Right को यहाँ लेके आऊंगा. Now they are at the same position, so it will terminate. So that's how this is gonna work. Now you can see I don't need to do much of the work, है ना, to avoid duplicates here and to store the output. It is just that I just need to be very careful about what item I am checking at once I have moved my pointers. That's all. So बहुत manual काम है. We don't need any extra data structure here in this particular logic. So how are we doing it actually? Let me show you in this code. है ना? So here first you are sorting, and this is the result list of list to store our results of the triplets and length of the array. This is fix first item. Okay. Now this is what, again, to avoid the duplicates, है ना, prevent identical triplets. So first item भी अगर repeat होता है, we have seen it in the previous approach. That is what we have done. अगर हम जीरो इंडेक्स के आगे काम कर रहे हैं, if you are working at index greater than 0, then we can for sure we should be checking previous ith index. If it was the same item, then we should not start checking it from here. Instead, we will be moving to the next item. Okay, that's a continue. Otherwise, if it is not true, then we are taking our pointers left and right. Left would for sure be at I plus 1, and right would be at the last item, n minus 1, as you can see here. When I was here, the left was starting at I plus 1 and the right was starting at n minus 1. Okay, so this is done. And now this is the whole same logic of the two pointer. While left is less than right, sum nikala kaise, nums I, nums left and nums right. If sum equals to 0, अगर sum 0 है, then well and good. Result dot add directly result में add कर दिए three items, nums I, nums left and nums right. Okay. And then what are we doing? It's not that easy that you will directly be putting left plus plus and right minus minus. You need to still avoid the duplicates, है ना? Avoid the same left and right combinations. That's why what I showed you here. -1 के बाद मैंने left move किया था, then again I was at the -1. Ideally, I should have been starting my left at 0 to avoid the repeated -1. Correct? Duplicate -1. That's why I am using extra loop here. Okay, to first figure out where should I put my left pointer next. Okay, so if left is still less than right and nums left, okay, equals to nums left plus 1, next left के बराबर है तो मैं left plus plus कर दूंगा. ठीक है, so that I will reach to the last duplicate item. और लास्ट डुप्लीकेट पे लेफ्ट पे आ गया, लास्ट डुप्लीकेट पे राइट पे भी आ गया, देन to avoid the duplicate completely, left plus plus and right minus minus. Okay, that's what we are doing. If sum is 0, if I have found my result. Otherwise, I am checking if sum is less than 0. अगर sum less than 0 है तो क्या करते हैं, लेफ्ट प्लस प्लस किया. अगर sum जो है हमारा वो ग्रेटर देन 0 आ रहा है तो हम राइट माइनस माइनस कर रहे हैं. ओके, दैट्स व्हाट वी आर गोना डू. I hope this is clear now. Same, I mean the classic two sum logic here, but it's just that we are adding extra logic to avoid the repetitions. Okay, we are trying to avoid the repetitions here. Or just to optimize it more, you can apply the same logic, apply the logic of मान लीजिए if in some edge cases, I mean, you have some things, if you want to, you have got some edge cases, you can apply the logic of removing duplicates here as well. Removing duplicates here as well. Okay, you can take it as homework. You can apply the logic of removing duplicates here as well. It too won't contribute to any extra time constant, don't worry. Because though this two while loops are looking nested in this while loop, but look at the items that they are iterating over. It's left and right. So anyway, this was combinedly gonna traverse n items combinedly. And on the same items, these loops are also traversing. Not nestedly, same items पे ही कर रहे हैं, same sequence में. So that's why if they get terminated somehow by crossing each other, this will also won't be working. This will also be terminated then. No extra running. Okay, so don't worry about it. So I hope this is clear now. So let's talk about the time complexity here. What would be the time complexity? First, a for loop is checking order of n. Here, this whole logic is also gonna take order of n. So big O of n square only. What is the space complexity? We are not using much of the space, or you can say any extra data structure. We are just storing the result only, है ना? So big of k कह सकते हो, and k can be of the order of n. Okay. If there is some such kind of test case, है ना, तो वो भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि आप स्टोर तो कर दे, हो सकता है सारे आइटम आ जाए. ये पॉसिबिलिटी एन आइटम्स एन बाई टू आइटम्स में आएंगे तो भी हो जाएगा. ठीक है. सो हियर if someone asks you कि what is space complexity, you can tell this one, but try to explain why. But if you say order of one for the space complexity, then please be sure to mention excluding the output, because output storing is taking big of k space. K is what I have explained it here, and I explain क्या हुआ है. So if you say कि order one space है, then please make sure to mention excluding the output. If we're including output, because other than output, you are not using anything, you know, any major extra space. So including output, you will be saying this answer. Excluding output, you will be saying this answer. Okay. So key insights can sorting enables intelligent pointer movement because it supports two pointer movement. Three level duplicate protection मिला कहाँ कहाँ पे? Skip duplicates starting element, skip duplicates for left pointer, skip duplicates for right pointer. That's why I told you earlier. This problem is not something that you are gonna solve as a unit. This problem comes with multiple small problems when you come to optimize it, you know. So these were the level of problems that you were supposed to solve. Three levels. Okay. So now let's have a tabular view of the comparison of what we approaches we have learned till here, try to solve here. Okay. Brute force order of n cube space k, which can be of order k also for worst case, or n also for worst case. Okay. पोस्ट प्रोसेसिंग हम लोग कर देते हैं सॉर्टिंग एंड हैशिंग का हैश सेट का यूज करें टू अवॉइड द डुप्लीकेट्स फॉर हैंडलिंग डुप्लीकेट्स बेस्ट फॉर लर्निंग. ठीक है. हैश सेट ऑर्डर एन स्क्वायर ऑर्डर एन प्री प्रोसेसिंग वी वर डूइंग प्लस हैश सेट मीडियम इनपुट्स के लिए मीडियम साइज के लिए. But very big inputs are there. You need to do things faster. So use two pointer, which take this. Big O of n for storing output. ठीक है. और वन क्यों है? Excluding output. ठीक. प्रिवेंशन एट ऑल लेवल्स. डुप्लीकेट्स को अवॉइड करता है साइड लेवल्स पे, थ्री लेवल्स पे, इंटरव्यूज के लिए बेस्ट सोल्यूशन है. ओके. की सॉल्यूशन. First got brute force, find everything, clean up duplicates later. That's what we did. Hash set. Smart searching is what we did. Some duplicate prevention is also what we did by using extra space. Then two pointers, prevent duplicates from ever being generated. Generate ही नहीं होने देता है. ठीक है? This is what we have done. Now, so there are three pillars of this duplicate handling in this particular problem. First was what? Skip duplicate of the starting element for the ith index, है ना? That's what we did. क्या किया था? I अगर 0 से बड़ा है, if I is greater than 0 and nums I is equals to nums I minus 1. Current item is equal to the previous item, then continue. First, fix the first item, which should not be a duplicate, okay? Second, for the left and right pointers, okay? Skip duplicates for the left pointer, and third, skip duplicates for the right pointer. This is what I have shown. है ना? This is for your notes, so that you can have a comprehensive view कि हाँ exactly क्या क्या हो रहा था इसमें. Okay. Now, when to use each approach? Again, why I keep showing this again, repeatedly from previous session, this session also, so that you never miss that this was also important because this is part of your thought process. So start with brute force, see the duplicate problem first hand, then understand why optimization is needed. General use hashtag approach works on unsorted चलता है ठीक है because आप उसको अलग तरीके से डील कर सकते हो sort भी कर सकते हो if you think है ना and good balance of speed and simplicity. But इंटरव्यूज के लिए टू पॉइंटर सॉर्ट करना ही पड़ेगा demonstrate deep understanding and optimal time and space complexity. Okay, so these were the trade-offs for this. Common mistakes of what people do in this particular approach is forget to sort entire array, है ना? Two pointers won't work on sorted array, नहीं कर पाएगा यहाँ पे काम. Okay, so sorted. Incomplete duplicate handling. What happens is if sum equals to zero, zero dot add as list हमने कर दिया, then left plus plus and right minus minus. मोस्टली पीपल यूज मिस दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट के यहाँ पे भी डुप्लीकेट को हैंडल करना है. मिस्टेक थ्री है ना, वो क्या होता है, वो आप उल्टा लिख देते हो समटाइम्स बिकॉज यू आर डीलिंग विद नेगेटिव नंबर सो समहाउ यू मेक दिस कॉमन मिस्टेक. सो check it thoroughly कि what is the actual value of sum and then decide if it is greater than or less than 0 and then move accordingly. Like here it is written right minus minus, it should be left plus plus, and here also left plus plus, it should be written as right minus minus. Okay. Now, after looking at the potential mistakes, let's go to the real world scenario. Real interview patterns क्या होते हैं? In Google, this question was asked, implement threesome with follow up about handling duplicates, है ना? Simple आपने काम कर लिया, then how to handle duplicates you were supposed to explain and show the code. Next, Amazon threesome variation with custom targets, है ना? Instead of giving zero, they can ask by giving some other target as well. So you would have to customize the solution according to it. Meta, explain your duplicate handling strategy. They were directly focusing upon कि duplicates कैसे handle करोगे. So that was the problem there. Optimize from brute force to optimal step by step. They have asked all the approaches from beginning to the end. Okay. Then why companies love this problem? Because this problem is not just any other simple problem. It doesn't line the part की सोचना बहुत मुश्किल है. Instead, while solving this problem, you solve too many challenges, है ना? क्या चेक करता है? Test multiple skills, sorting to pointer duplicate handling, has a clear optimization path, reveals problem solving approach. This completely shows your thought process कि आप क्या सोच सकते हो, कैसे काम करते हो. Okay, common in real world data processing because as you can understand, duplicates होते ही होते हैं real world data में. Idle data होता ही नहीं. There is no such idle data where no duplicates are there. In real world data, there is always duplicates, है ना? So that's why actual problem solving starts from here. Okay, not from the ideal situation. So after showing you this whole scenario, let's come to the homework practice part. I would really like you to work in the ladder form. है ना? Ladder form means easy to difficult जाओ आप. Okay. So level foundation पे क्या होगा? Implement all three approaches. Okay. Test with custom input of this input 0000. सारे के सारे duplicates है फिर देखो कैसा काम करता है. And what else you can do. Okay, then test it with no duplicates as well. Then level 2. Go on Leetcode and directly solve this question. This is a variation of the threesome. Threesome closest and threesome smaller. Okay. Next, mastery level. Just move one step up. Foursome. Extended pattern है and implement the recursive KSM solution. Though if you know recursion, you can solve it. Don't know, then don't do it. First learn recursion and then try to solve. But this is the most challenging problem for you. You can try to solve this. Okay. Same idea होगा, but सेम challenges and ज़्यादा और challenges आएंगे to handle more complex situations while solving. Okay. Now, coming to the key takeaways, brute force, okay, simple to understand. I've already shown you this, but I'm just repeating because we are now at the ending part of the session. So it handles duplicate by sorting in hash set. Too slow for large inputs. Don't forget that, so it is not very practical. But the hash set faster because n square time later instead of n cube. This was checking order of n cube. Okay, works on unsorted data and use extra space order of n space. Two pointers. Optimal order n square and time and space means excluding output. Okay. Then you can say order one space, otherwise it is order n again, but but faster. ठीक है, prevents duplicates elegantly. Interview golden standard. ठीक है, interview mostly पूछा ही जाता है check करने के लिए just capabilities. Now, for tomorrow's session, we will be now moving from two pointers to sliding window. So, sliding window pattern fundamentals is what we are going to discuss. Fixed versus variable size windows, we will see. We'll talk about it. Then we'll try to solve some problems, maximum sub-array problem, and real world streaming applications. Okay. So, final thought of the day. Today, you learned that great solutions just don't solve problems, they prevent the problems, right? Yeah, it will take few seconds to understand it. Once you, make yourself completely drowned in this whole scenario of this particular problem that we have solved today. Okay, so this mindset will make you an exceptional engineer. So please work upon it. Next, thank you for your dedication and learning uh, in the with the Aarush coaching classes. And if this deep dive really helped you, then please like, share, and subscribe our content, our channel. Okay, your engagement really helps us to create more quality content for everyone. So that's all. That would be all for this session, everyone. So all the best for your practice, and let's meet in next.